So we're going to look at a few different ways of producing ideas, or the start of the ideation process. Now, what you're eventually trying to get to is some sort of product, probably, but you might be struggling with how to get there, and hopefully this will give you some help. Now, you could just use some images from the internet, kind of manipulate them. They're going to inspire you, change how certain parts are, add bits together, etc. Or a technique I'm going to show you today is very, very simple and is kind of a bit of a process, but will definitely get you some interesting outcomes. So what we're going to do is we're going to start just by breaking our page up. Now, you can do this freehand. You don't have to use a ruler like I'm going to do here. Like so. We're going to go roughly, let's go for kind of 6 lines that are going to give us some relatively equally spaced boxes, hopefully, and you'll see what I mean in a second. Something like this, okay? And these are going to be the rows we're going to work in. I can have some vertical lines, potentially like this, give it a little bit of space. Again, you can do this really, really quick. You don't have to do it as neat as I'm doing it. Not that it is that neat, but it'll give you an idea. And then we can maybe squeeze one more on the end like so. Okay, so what we've got here is 12 boxes that we're going to basically build into. And we're going to take a very simple shape. We're going to take a square like so, and we're going to work in this top row with the square. Now, the first thing to do is put a square in there. It wouldn't really work, wouldn't look that good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of make some marks along the top here, and I'm going to join this bottom corner up. So I'm going to move my page around so it's not so tricky for me. Bottom corner up to that point like so. Draw along the bottom here, draw along the top. We've got a very basic shape. Okay, from there, maybe I'm going to take off a corner. Okay, so I'm going to cut that corner off, and maybe I'm going to cut this corner off as well. I'm going to join those two up, join this up, and then just follow the square around for the rest, like so. We've got a different shape. This time, maybe we're going to go and take all the corners off. So we're going to take some points, line that one up the top there so it's neat. Line this one up top here, maybe this side one, like so. Okay, and you can join these corners together, or these lines, like this. Really, really simple. And you're probably wondering what the point of this is. What we're going to eventually do is turn these into 3D shapes and build into them from there. And then finally, let's go for something a little bit different. Let's take a chunk out here. Let's come down the side. Let's draw a cross like this. Let's go along to this corner. Let's give a little bit of an angle up. So maybe we want to get an angle up to here and across. Okay, and that's a bit more of a dramatic shape. The next type we're going to take is we're going to go with a circle like so. And we can start by just putting a circle in this box like that. And then I'm going to put another circle in this box here, like so. And we do the same over here. And the same over here. And of course, they're all the same, all right? But what we can do is we could cut into them. So this one here, we could draw a line across the top, make this section a little bit darker to make it stand out. Maybe this one here, we're going to put an angle there, and we're going to put an angle across here, and we join that kind of curved section up. Maybe give it a flat base like this, join that curved bit up there, and this curved bit up here. And then we've got a slightly different shape. Maybe this one, we're going to take a big cutout. Take a little angle down, bring this curve across like so, and then maybe we've got a flat section here, and a flatter section on the base, bring that curve around, and then maybe this one, I don't know, we're going to just take the side off here like so, bring this curve over, have a little cutout on this side, bring this curve, and then have another flat piece on the bottom, like so. Okay, and then we've kind of manipulated our circle into some interesting shapes as well. And then finally, we're going to take our triangle. It could be any shape, right? I'm just taking 3 of the most basic shapes. And this time, let's say we're going to go with a slightly offset triangle within our shape, like so. Draw across like this. Let's go for a triangle with kind of like a mountain peak, I suppose you could say, here like this. In fact, maybe we could even go one step further and put a kind of an offset triangle in like that. Who knows? Then let's go for multiple triangles. So potentially we can have a triangle like this. We can have a triangle that kind of extends up here like so. And then maybe we've got a triangle sticking off the side like this. Interesting. We don't mind that. And then finally, we'll take a nice wide triangle down here. And we're going to add something similar like so. Okay, and very quickly, you've got some interesting shapes and some interesting ideas that you can work from. Now, of course, what you could do, and I haven't got much space, I'm going to show you at the bottom here, is you could take this circle and this triangle as an example. And let's say we like a section of it, we can kind of add the two together. Okay, so what we've actually got is we've got a very basic shape like this, and then we've got technically a triangle that's something like so. And by merging those two, maybe we see something that we like from it. So maybe what we like is this kind of section down here like this foot part, I suppose you could say. And then we can come up and around. Maybe we go to this top bit here, across to this top bit, and we like that part there. Okay, and that's given us some kind of interesting shape to work from. Obviously, we'll have to see what our product's going to be, but that might be useful for something or some part of it. Maybe we like this shape here, and let's take that shape up here. They're kind of similar in a way, but what we've got is we've got our circle like so. It's got a cutout like this. It's got a cutout here like this. And then this one has also got this kind of interesting cutout over the top. So let's just draw up, and we've got this shape going across. We've got this bit that comes down. This bit goes over here. This bit comes down here. And then we've got this section that goes over there. And there's all kinds of interesting shapes that we could work from there. Again, I quite like this little foot part here. So maybe we keep the foot and this curved section. But then if we go and bring this bit up and across and down and along, and then let's take this circular part all the way down to there and join across, and then you can build into that. Okay, so very quickly, you're getting some really interesting and different shapes that maybe if you were sat there trying to think, okay, what design am I going to go to, I don't know, make a water dispenser, you've got absolutely no idea, all right? You're just going to go and find some images on Google, copy them, and it's not going to be that unique and creative. All right, so this way, hopefully, you've got some pretty unique, some creative ideas, and I'll show you in the next video how we're going to turn these into 3D and think about them as more of a water dispenser rather than just as shapes.